Well, hello. It seems like my subscribers have more than doubled while I was away for the holidays, so thank you and nice to meet you. I am not perfect. This collection behind me has grown as a result of trial and error, and even after my cull from last year, there are still some things that I'd change. Here are... who put the... Here are a few things I wish I'd known when I started collecting board games. I started my board game collection in college. That's right, you wouldn't know it talking to me, but I did go to college. And college was a time where I had very little disposable income. And thank goodness for that. I'm the type of person that goes all in when a new hobby drops. I love doing research, I love watching YouTube videos about the hobby, and I love buying things. Because of that, even with limited cash, I found a way to go too far too fast. My story starts like a lot of other gamers with Catan, and after my friends and I played that game into the ground, I started wondering what else was out there. The Dice Tower and Will Wheaton's Tabletop got me interested in probably like 20 games in less than a week. Fast forward a month and I had bought like 10 of them. Classic early games, right? Like Carcassonne, Ticket to Ride, King of Tokyo, and even, remember, I was young, Munchkin. The problem here, aside from straining my wallet, was that I had no idea what kind of games I liked yet. Now I know that Ameritrash games are often what I gravitate toward, with a healthy sprinkling of Euros for flavor. But my shelves were all over the place. I had light Euros, dice chuckers, and games based exclusively on randomness because I wasted no time before buying. As tempting as it may be, resist, take a breath, just know you don't need to build a collection in a month. If you can, get one game at a time. Sometimes, yes, that $100 free shipping threshold is just a little too tempting. I completely get it. But if you're buying from local stores or Facebook Marketplace or maybe eBay, I would recommend one at a time. That way you may be able to avoid the situation that I'm in. Yes, that's a big collection back there, but also, embarrassingly enough, there are quite a few games that I have not played in my collection. This is Tabletop Simulator. It costs $20 on Steam, and sometimes you can get it on sale for even less. It is hands down the single smartest board game purchase that I have ever made. I have friends in a few places, so I got Tabletop Simulator so that I could play board games with them no matter how far apart we were. Even if that was Tabletop Simulator's only function, it would still be the best buy ever. But that's not all. By the way, this is not a sponsor. Tabletop Simulator just deserves all the praise in the world. This is an essential try before you buy tool because you can play hundreds of board games on it virtually. Did you see a review of a game that caught your attention? Or maybe you spotted a game on a top 10 list and you wondered, is that for me? Well, don't spend $80 to find out, just search it up on Tabletop. There are a bunch of games that cost money to play on Tabletop, but there are infinitely more that don't. I have played Raptor, Spirit Island, Memoir 44, Fog of Love, Game of Thrones the card game, Roll for the Galaxy, and dozens more games with this one app. Now, keep in mind, there is something to be said for the physical experience of a board game. You probably won't enjoy playing games online as much as you enjoy them in person. I mean, I know I don't. Subscribe, that's all. Ow! Wow. Anyway, if you are looking to get the feel of a game, to confirm that it's right for you before you make a big purchase, this is the best way to do it. Plus, I've seen a bunch of Kickstarters put their games up on Tabletop so people can try them out before they back. You are not limited to only games that have been out for years. I tried out the Dune game from CMON and Galactic Renaissance from Madigo before I decided whether or not to back. This may seem like an obvious one, but I'm saying it because it wasn't for me. Much like a gas, my hobbies expand to fit the container that they're in. Every inch of this apartment is board games. My office, the closet, even under the bed. Your life will give you a natural limit on board game acquisitions. This is a bulky hobby, so plan for that. I think board games look very good on shelves. I think they look a bit less good as a giant pile next to a shelf. A lot of gamers have a one-in, one-out policy when they reach shelf carrying capacity, and I think that is great advice. I also hope to follow it one day. Oof, okay. This one's calling me out a little bit. Board gaming is a group-dependent hobby, right? That means that if you and your partner play board games together, and that's just about the only time that you play games, you're probably going to want to focus your purchases on two-player games with a handful of games that play two or more. I now speak to past Ben, and anyone else that needs to hear it. Don't buy games that ignore your main player count. These days, I play mostly solo and with two. There are thousands of games that fit those restrictions, and hundreds of those are fantastic games. Why would I waste my money buying a game that only works with 3 or more players? TI4, number 4 in my all-time top 20 games, and boy, it could get higher. Okay. Fair. There are exceptions to every rule, but just pay attention to it. As another example, I recently had the opportunity to buy Rising Sun, and I didn't take it. That's because Rising Sun plays 3 to 5 players, and I've already got a bunch of games that work at those higher player counts that I don't get to play that much. So I figured, why buy Rising Sun and then make those other 3 to 5 player games that I have get played even less? Is it worth it to buy a game that you will likely play much less than the others in your collection? Some games are worth it, but a lot of other times, you're going to be able to find comparable games that work for your situation. We are about to get serious, so just to soften that blow a little bit. Perfect. Okay. I have an actual addiction to buying things, as in it's the buying and not the using that gives me the most pleasure. When you buy a game, keep track of how you feel during the process. The researching, buying, waiting for it to arrive, unboxing, and actually playing. If you find yourself significantly disappointed by the playing after the enjoyment that you got out of researching and buying, you might want to take a break from collecting and focus your time on appreciating the games that you already have. I say this from firsthand experience, the worst moments of collecting for me are when it becomes about the acquisition and not about the play. When that happens, I give myself a little timeout. No more buying board games until I love playing again. Because when that love isn't there, every purchase is just throwing money away. Which leads us to... most board games will be available to purchase at any time. There is nothing that says you need to buy a game right now, so just wait until you're good and ready. Financially, emotionally, physically. I mean, if you're too busy to play a new game right now, why are you buying it? I'm sure a lot of people would say, but what about Kickstarters? And I include myself in that group. Kickstarted board games, specifically those with campaigns designed around the fear of missing out, they're deadly because they work.
I decided to back Yucatan all in, baby.
Exactly. And a campaign using FOMO doesn't mean the game isn't good, but it certainly muddies the waters. This is probably the hardest piece of advice for me specifically to take. Don't fear missing out. Kickstarters get money out of us when they say you can only get this here, buy now or else. To that I say, you're a liar. A convincing liar, but a liar nonetheless. It is exceedingly rare that a truly great game is only offered once, and if you missed it, too bad. It can happen, but it's rare. So if you see a Kickstarter that catches your eye and they have no way for you to figure out how it feels, no gameplays, no tabletop simulator mods, no nothing but great looking miniatures, just give it a pass. I think you'll probably say, phew, a lot more than you'll say, damn. And if you're saying, damn, there's probably a bunch of other people saying, damn, right along with you. And then the publisher is going to reprint the game because they want the money that you and all the other damns of the world are willing to offer them. If you are like me, most of these tips are probably going to be hard to follow. But if any of them resonated with you, just keep them in your back pocket. Might save you a few bucks, and it might lead to a little bit less stress. And if you're looking for one piece of advice to follow above all others, ask yourself that every once in a while. If the answer is yes, and you're not bankrupt, I spent over $300 getting everything that Ankh Gods of Egypt has to offer. And even though I very much enjoy the game, watch my top 20 favorite games video to see how much, I definitely don't need everything for it. And yet, sometimes I pull it off the shelf, open up the boxes, and just look at the components. Sometimes ignore the player counts. Sometimes let the boxes pile up next to your shelves. Sometimes splurge, because these are board games. You're supposed to have fun. All right, this video was a lot of talking and not a lot of haha funny joke times, so this is what I would look like if I had the body shape of a meeple. Good stuff. Well, that's all for this video. Let me know in the comments down below if there are any tips that you have that I didn't mention because I did a bad job making this video. Let me know, like, be super mean. It's totally fine. I can take it probably. I'm pretty fragile, so maybe don't be that mean. Yeah, if actually you could be nice, that would be great. I'm gonna take it all back. Could you be nice, please? Thank you so much. We're gonna cut over to the next shot now, so enjoy whatever's going on over there. See you later. Oh, no. I'm gonna get you. Subscribe. Come here. No!